You know what really gets my fangs flaring? It's not just the lack of originality in modern Doctor Who. We've come to expect that from the post-RTD2 coma we're all stuck in. But the utter refusal to tap into the goldmine of monster lore the show has built over decades. Instead of reviving terror-inducing creatures or exploring neglected horrors, we get glorified sock puppets with social media campaigns and rainbow flags stitched on for inclusivity. Because nothing says terrifying like a creature that demands your pronouns before devouring you. Or worse, it's just another recycled Time Lord. Hello Rani, Omega, and yes, even Susan. Back in the day, Doctor Who monsters meant something. They were threats. Dangerous, unreasoning, and alien. You didn't need a PhD in post-colonial theory to understand why a glowing-eyed, six-clawed killing machine was a problem. You just ran. But now we sideline the best ones. We leave them to rot in old VHS tapes and target novelizations while the showrunners vomit up yet another moral grey villain that's either misunderstood, misgendered, or both. And that brings me to one of the most criminally overlooked creatures in the Whoniverse, a monster so unique, so layered, and so ripe for a comeback that it practically writes itself. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're dragging an underrated horror out of the Eden jungles and back into the spotlight. Let's start with a question for the armchair moralists out there. If a shark eats a surfer, do you put the shark on trial? No, of course not, because a shark's just being a shark. It's a predator. It sees prey. It strikes. So, why then do so many fans, and the show itself, act like the Mandrels were evil? These weren't scheming villains. They weren't planning galactic domination. They were just dangerous, powerful, exploited. You want a real monster? Try the people who use them, because the Mandrels aren't villains. They're victims of trafficking, addiction, capitalism, and most of all, narrative neglect. And today, we fix that. Originally introduced in the Fourth Doctor's adventure Nightmare of Eden. Back in 1979, the Mandrels are hulking reptilian creatures with red-scaled skin, matted fur, glowing green eyes, and massive fronded maws that look like a sea anemone decided to cosplay as Cthulhu. Their sheer presence is nightmarish. Add to that their durability, able to shrug off blaster fire, and their tendency to kill by mere contact, and you've got a walking death sentence. But what makes them stand out isn't just their appearance, it's what happens when they die. Mandrels that are electrocuted decompose into Vraxoin, a hyper-addictive Class A narcotic banned across the galaxy. That's right, these things literally become drugs when you kill them the right way. So naturally, someone tried to monetize that. Because of course they did. In Nightmare of Eden, we saw Tristan Diamond using a continuous event transmuter to capture Mandrels in a pocket dimension, smuggle them onto ships, and convert them into Vraxoin. But that story only scratched the surface of the horror here. End of story, right? Wrong. Let's not forget, in later lore, the Mandrels turn up again. Their blood is used in occult rituals, no future. They're attacked by the Anubians, Curse of Anubis. And the 11th Doctor even claimed he once saved Peter Capaldi from the girl who loved Doctor Who, so it's not like they disappeared entirely. The show just gave up on them, which is ridiculous. Because with their drug connection, aggressive nature, and victim status, the Mandrels aren't just a monster, they're a narrative goldmine. Probably the biggest reason the Mandrels never made a comeback is simple. They looked like they wandered off the set of Muppets in Space. Fluffy limbs, waddling gait, eyes that seemed more confused than menacing. They didn't scream galactic threat, they screamed Sesame Street Halloween special. And it's a shame because conceptually they were perfect. But visually they were Saturday morning punchlines. But we live in the age of creature design mastery, where suits, animatronics and CGI can merge into something genuinely horrifying. And if there's ever been a time to bring the Mandrels back and make them terrifying, it's now. Imagine this. They're not upright stumblers anymore. They move like gorillas, long, muscular forearms that drag along the floor as they stalk their prey, bodies built like tanks, their movement low, heavy and unsettling. But when they attack, they rise up into full bipedal horror. Hulking fast and brutal, give their skin a sickly wet sheen like they're constantly sweating narcotic-laced sap. Add a subtle internal glow to their eyes, not like headlights, but like something simmering just below the surface, a warning. Keep them shrouded in mist or low lighting where you only see glimpses, a silhouette, a breath, a flash of those glowing pupils before it's too late. Keep the classic more, but animate it properly this time. Make it writhe, make it pulse, let it open far wider than it should, like something's living inside them. This isn't a monster you laugh at anymore. This is a monster that stalks you down steel corridors, breathing like a freight train, until it's standing over your broken body, and you're just one more dose for the street. The Mandrels are the perfect intersection of science fiction, horror, and real-world analogy. They're the crop in an interstellar drug war. Imagine if poppies screamed and fought back. That's the Mandrels. They're not villains, they're livestock in the eyes of the drug lords, and worse, the process of farming them requires their deaths. So here's how you bring them back, with teeth, blood, and one hell of a tragedy. Imagine this. In the outer rim of the galaxy, the megacorporation Nutrionix rules the food and pharmaceuticals industries. Their crown jewel, the Synth Eden line, lab-grown, sustainable organic proteins sold in every colony, spaceport and orbital mall. They claim it's clean, pure ethical, except it isn't. It's made from Mandrels, captured from Eden decades earlier, cloned in underground facilities and electrocuted en masse to harvest Vraxoin, which is then microdosed into Synth Eden products. Not enough to be illegal, just enough to make you dependent, because that's what Nutrionix discovered. Vraxoin isn't just a drug. In smaller doses, it boosts appetite, mood, and dopamine response. It's the secret ingredient in their billion-credit empire. The Doctor and companion arrive on a glittering corporate planet in the midst of a breakdown. People are rioting over missing meals, children are going through withdrawals, and the Synth Eden factories mysteriously shut down overnight. The Doctor investigates and uncovers the truth. Vast cloning pits filled with Mandrels in various stages of development. Some mutated, some dead, all suffering. Meanwhile, the companion begins to feel off. The food they tried earlier starts to take hold. They become jittery, paranoid, aggressive, then come the cravings. They're addicted, and it's not metaphorical, it's chemical. What follows is a desperate race. Shut down the production, save the Mandrels, and find a cure before the companion loses themselves forever. But here's the twist. Nutrionix isn't trying to hide their actions anymore. They're scaling up, creating an atmospheric distribution system to vaporize Vraxoin and turn entire planets into loyal, addicted customers. And the Mandrels? The last generation of unstable hybrids mutated by cloning errors are starting to escape. They're not just drug sources anymore. They're coming for revenge. Final scene, the Doctor is forced to choose: destroy the last remaining Mandrels to end the cycle, or release them into the wild and risk the galaxy tearing itself apart. This isn't just a creature feature, it's socio-political horror, a story about addiction, commodification, animal abuse, and the dehumanizing effects of corporate greed. It gives the Mandrels depth without overcomplicating them. It makes them dangerous again. It makes them matter. And it gives the show a monster that isn't trying to be cute, misunderstood, or marketable. The Mandrels aren't here to hug. They're here to remind you that some monsters don't want redemption. They want revenge. So what do we have here? A terrifying, visually distinct creature, a lore-rich backstory, built-in themes of addiction, capitalism, and survival, and a show that's completely ignored all of it. Bring back the Mandrels. Give them teeth again. Give them blood. Give them justice, because if we can get 400 variations of the Daleks and endless Sontaran slapstick, then surely the drug-laced death gorillas of Eden deserve a second bite. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.